Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey everyone, this is Walter from iWalter. You know what? I've been doing like the last couple shows, not that many, but I did a couple shows that were actually on my Mac for a change. You know, I got this Mac Pro and I really don't use it to its fullest potential. So I was doing them on a webcam because I try to do them directly on Audacity on the Mac, and it just didn't seem to work properly. So just to let people know, which I'm kind of actually really excited about, but a friend reached out to me because I did try to reach out to someone else to do a podcast, and at this point I know it's not going to happen. I made it very clear, try to let them know that, hey, I'm not interested in you. I'm just interested in doing a podcast with you. That probably sounds a little bit awkward, but the reason is because for some reason when you ask for guys to do podcasts, they're all over that stuff. You know, they like to do it. If you ask a female of any stature, any type, they automatically assume that you're asking them out on a date, and it was not the case. So that happened, and unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. I actually made sure to disassociate myself on the social media links on them, and I just won't bother them again because it was just kind of a waste of time. I thought it was kind of a good effort because it was somebody within the realms of where, you know, basically I live. It's not that far, and I thought I could do a podcast with them, but unfortunately I don't think they have the capacity to do one for some reason. I have no clue why. It's not that difficult. But, yeah, a friend, Ryan Logsden, reached out to me. He just finished his second horror film, you know, independent film. He actually lives a lot further. He lives about, I think, at least 2 hours away. Something like that. He lives pretty far, but he reached out to me on Friday night, which was a blessing in disguise for me. And he said, hey, Walter, can I do I want to do a podcast with you on a movie he made, Agony, but it's going to be the sequel now. So it was like, yeah, thank you for reaching out to me. At least there's some people left that are good people and respond back to you. And I've done a podcast with him in the past. So anyway, that being said, the bottom line is now I got to get myself prepped because I haven't done one in a while, like the conventional way. So normally what I do is I just do it on my on the last couple ones. It makes it so much easier is I just pull out my webcam. Either one, I have two different webcams now that I bought from Logitech. Hooked it up to the Mac, basically hooked and got decent, not great, but decent audio levels. And I actually got video. So it was really cool. But if I do one over the phone, because Ryan's kind of far away, it will have to be over the phone. It's going to take me a while to work out some bugs. So tonight, unfortunately, I didn't know this, but I tried to do, I'm experimenting with this show, by the way. I don't want to do a very long show because the weekend's over now. But I want to do one to make sure it's okay with Ryan, because I have to, you know, basically jury rig a mic to a speaker and have Ryan, you know, basically have him talk through his phone onto a speaker, which I can record it that way. It's very makeshift. I did try other ways. It just never worked out well. So anyway, last weekend, I think it was, God, it seems like forever though, but it was last weekend. A friend of my two friends, Matt Tarns and this guy Ed Rick, Ed Rick actually contacted me, then Matt did, and asked, hey, Ed wants to go down the city. It was last Saturday, actually, I believe, and go see this guy. Sorry about that. Joe Bob Briggs. I always get his name wrong, but I think I got it actually correctly this time. Joe Bob Briggs. And it was like, okay, Joe Bob Briggs is a guy who basically introduced and still does, old horror movies of different types, different genres. And I never was a really big fan, honestly, of Joe Bob Briggs, but I know for some reason this friend, Ed Rick, he's a he's a drum teacher, and he's really heavily into Joe Bob Briggs. I don't know, because he does, I can't see why, but it's really cool because it's one thing I have in common with this guy, Ed Rick, then, because I like horror movies. I love horror movies. I grew up with horror movies. So, Ed Rick had asked my other friend, Matt Tarns, hey, would you guys like to go? I'll buy the tickets. They loosened up some tickets. So it was down in Philly, and I can't honestly remember where. I'm just bad with directions, and I don't even hide the fact. I am horrible with directions. So it was actually four of us, because then Ed brought a friend of his along, a female friend, and Matt drove down. It was actually really cool. I appreciate them, Ed actually thinking of me, and got me out of the house actually, because I said, yeah, since I've been let go from my other job, it's been actually, I would say, since April. So it is now December. So it's been almost 3/4 of a year now I've been out of the job I had. So I'm a bit on the very much so on the depressed side. So, and by the way, I need to mention this as well, but I did a podcast just last weekend, I believe. And it was like, wow, okay, I'm going to use basically, oh, wow, what's going on here? I always have problems with Audacity. I was going to, do it right on the Mac computer, because I got this Mac Pro. The thing is like a $3,000 computer. It's not doing anything that crazy. It's just doing audio podcasts. So I'm doing this as a test. I could actually hear through my headset that there's some issues going on here. And it was like, okay, the first half hour was beautiful. And after that, that's why I got a separate laptop to do my podcast, because after that, it was just a disaster. Like the sound kept on dropping out. It was skipping words. So if it does it this time, I want to know now to see what I have to do to fix this problem before I do a podcast next weekend, with somebody who, reached out to me, because I don't want anything to screw up. And I don't know what's going on with Audacity. In fact, tonight, the show I'm doing right now was a little bit of a problem, because usually I can just lay down the intro, record my show, what I want to talk about, and put an end in, and not have a problem at all. Well, guess what? It won't let me do it that way. So it was a serious problem for me tonight, because I got to go back and I got to actually basically merge the beginning intro, then put down what I'm recording just now. I got to record that separately. Lay that down separately, and then I got to put the end in. It's a bit of a mess. Let me put it that way. And if I do a long podcast, I may very well not get it all done on, even if I do it Sunday afternoon or Sunday night, depending on when I decide to do it. Or when we can get together, me and this guy, Ryan. Now, if he was here, it would be a different story, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm assuming I'm going to do it over the phone. It would be much better if he was here, though. So, but again, wishful thinking on my part. And also, it was funny. I was like, okay, since I'm doing this the good old-fashioned way, I need to put actually, some type of icon for the show that I do. And the problem with that is I couldn't think of anything. And then I found this hilarious picture somebody put up on a doll. They put a Barbie doll. They put those hair clip on there, and it was supposed to represent. It was a funny joke, and I thought it was funny myself. But the picture was supposed to represent that the Barbie doll had a face hugger. It was a black, because I got it right away, but it was a black hair clip on the Barbie doll's face. And I looked at that. It was like, you know what? That is actually really funny. So yeah, I'm going to use that as my what do you call it? My cap. It has like, and I'll tell you right now, it has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about tonight. And I honestly don't know even what I'm going to talk about. So that's actually even better. I am, like, as we're speaking, I'm trying to put up some stories again so I can listen to this tomorrow, later tonight. Depends what I'm doing, because I think it's episode 9 of the new Doctor Who. I always wait until later, and I'm watching on iTunes. A couple things that and tonight I actually saw, I thought it was actually not that bad. It wasn't, like, as petrifying as I thought it was, but I did go see, I'm trying to look. Okay, here it is. Because I always get the name wrong. It's funny. I want to see this horror movie. I can't remember the name for the life of me. But it's called The Possession of Hannah Grace. So, anyway, yeah, the movie was actually very interesting. It wasn't quite that scary, actually. I did jump, but you know what? I'll jump at anything. There's not much I don't get scared by. So that being said, that should say a lot. Yeah, I get scared of almost everything. I'm a very, very excitable person. So, but it was definitely, I would say the least, it was definitely entertaining. And it was worth it. It was just, I wanted to see it this afternoon. But you ever have one of those days? I did, where I woke up and I was like tired the whole weekend. And extremely tired the whole weekend. So I just basically slept in late yesterday. Today I was like telling myself, well, I'll get up earlier and, you know, I'll get a decent start and I'll go see this movie about what is it called again? The Possession of Hannah Grace at a decent time. You know, I'll go to the matinee because it would be like $10-11, which is still kind of expensive. And then it was like, yeah, my eyes were like puffy today. My one eye was like killing me. I don't know what it was. I personally think it's allergies. And I had a headache from that, and I was tired, like I said. So the bottom line, it was like, yeah, I'm just going to go back to bed. There's no way for me to get up early. No reason for me to get up early. Now, I'll be up again tonight. I'll be up very late again tonight, I should say. So anyway, so I didn't go see the movie, and I was going to see it at like 2:30. Then that didn't work. Then I figured I'll see it at 5, but I got to do some like running around and some shopping, which is, for me, it's really hard right now. Me not working, me getting very few hours at the job I have now, because they can send you home anytime during the course of the day. Like at the job I work now, I don't want to get hired out because it would be a lot easier if I did so. I don't want to do it though, just because I really don't like the job, and you know, I'm not under an obligation that, you know, if they get rid of me, I can just get another job. It's through a temp agency. So if I get hired out and I really don't like the job, I'll be kind of stuck there. I'll screw myself. So, and the job is very hard. It's very tedious, but I need this job. But unfortunately, last week we got sent home 2 hours early to one day, and then we had off for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So my paycheck this week was $252. And I had borrowed $1,800 just to keep my head above water, which I think I might just break down and borrow some more and then, you know, figure it out later with my 401k. But I borrowed $1,800, and then, you know, I got hit by get my car fixed, and that was $800 for, I don't know anything about cars, honestly, but they said the rotors, you know, you didn't have to, but I had to get my inspection done. My my picture ID for my driver's license is due again, so I have to go back for that sometime. It's not due until February. But it was just like, a wallop in the face with all these bills again. And I just basically got myself, all the credit cards were zero balance. Now I have instant $1,000 on from car insurance was due a couple weeks ago. That's why I took out that. Health insurance, my phone bill, and the car inspection. So it was just like too much. I mean, I got nailed every single way I possibly can get, like crucified. So it was horrible. No puns intended, because I wanted to talk about the possession of Hannah Grace. So yeah, that really hurt. Again, I might just have to reevaluate my bills and just have to reestablish my loan and just take out a bigger loan, pay off the first loan, and figure it out. I've done that before. Because I do want to just take loans. I don't want to get myself under $100,000 in my 401k, because I'm like I'm going to be 52. I need some money when I retire, but I also don't want to pay high credit card bills, because that ruins your credit score as well when you have all this money over your head. But that being said, maybe I'll just say it now, because I have some stuff I want to go on about Apple products. I've been going back and forth. My problem is, right now I have them on. I have to wear reading glasses at least now. I got away from glasses for the longest time, almost 10 years, after I got some corrective surgery. And that helped, because I couldn't see far away. As you get older, your eyes are just going to get bad no matter what you do. I mean, I can go get my eyes I got laser surgery, I can get it redone. And I probably will at some point when I get more money, though. But they said this would happen. You get corrective surgery, it's going to happen either way, because, when I get older, which now I'm in my 50s, you're going to have problems with reading. And that's going to happen no matter what, if you get laser surgery done or not. So I corrected the one problem, and I have another problem. I can't see things close. So that being said, hey, I got this new iPhone. It's got really sharp, razor sharp quality. The iPhone 10. It was used, so it was kind of scratched up when I bought it. And as the trade-in, I paid for this phone like $500. So I'm looking at it right now. So it's sharp, but the only problem is, it's kind of tiny. So I wanted something with, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at what my friend sent me. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought now. Love that monkey. There's something, it's a joke between me and a friend with this monkey. Funky monkey. So, what was I going to say? I was thinking about this for the longest time, but I really wanted to basically get, I've wanted to do this from the get-go. It's not like I just came up with this idea just suddenly. Alrighty, so my thing's not working. I'm sorry, my computer monitor's not working. So, that being said, because I need my stories and it's not working. So, for some reason, I'm trying to click on my computer and it's not working. The screensaver just not being cooperative. So, yeah, what was I going to say? Because I can't read my stories without this. I might have to do a slight pause until I figure out how to change this problem. So anyway, I wanted to attend, what is it called? The X Phone 10R. It was a bigger phone. Quality was a little bit cheaper. The phone was a little cheaper than new phones. The new phones, to get anything of decent size as far as memory, you actually have to buy, you have to spend like $1,200, $1,500. And it's like, I don't have that kind of money. $1,500 for a phone, that's for the new ones. But if you get the R phone, it starts at $700. But if you want to get decent sized memory, you're talking, which goes only up to $256. Then you're talking a little bit more money. You're talking like $800 or something. So I looked and I talked. I have T-Mobile now. I had Verizon. I don't know what's going on. Please excuse me for a minute, folks. Alrighty, I'm sorry about that. I'm just trying to get this thing to get off of screensaver mode. Like, it's never done this. I've had so many problems with my podcast lately. So the only thing is I do know is if I do, I can kind of pause this and pick up where I left off. I am using my Linux machine tonight, by the way, just to let people know. I haven't used it in probably a few weeks. Yeah, something's wrong with this computer. Been having problems. My main computer. So I went over the store yesterday, and I asked him. Excuse me a minute again. I asked him tonight, or yesterday. I asked the T-Mobile store. I said, "Yeah, I like to see. Like, I would like to buy the phone. You have this deal. T-Mobile has a deal. You got to pay for it for 3 years. The phone's not that expensive to begin with, but you can pay it off at $20 a month. And they recommend that you get their coverage too, protection on the phone." It was like, yeah, maybe I will. So it was like, okay, I'll do that. You know what? I'm going to have to reboot my main computer. So please excuse me for a moment while I fix this. I'm going to pause. And then I'll start up where I left off. So give me a moment. I don't know what's going on with the computer, but it is acting up tonight. So I'm glad I'm doing this on the Linux machine because I don't have any problems with that. So, folks, I'll be back in about, well, you won't hear a difference, but I will because I have to pause this. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, there was a pause there for me. I don't know what's going on with my Mac Pro. I've just had such bad luck. Hopefully this won't be an issue with Ryan because, again, I'm going to be using the Linux box, my Linux laptop. I don't think I'll have the same problems I'm having now with the Mac machine. Thank God it's under coverage for another 2 years because that would take me up to it's under cover. My Mac Pro is covered until 2020. By then, there'd be a new Mac Pro out anyway. Can I afford it? Probably not, but at least I have that incentive that it'll be out there. So anyway, yeah, I really got distracted. My friend's like, he's making me laugh. He's kind of getting my mind off of this person that, doesn't want to do an interview with me. So he's sending funny masturbation pictures, so I'm kind of laughing at those. But yeah, Ed Rick, friend, and Matt Tarns, we went down to see. I'm going to go back a step. So, because I was talking about the possession of Hannah Grace, and then I kind of got distracted because the computer just like shut down for no reason at all. Like the screen would not open up, and it wouldn't get off a screensaver. So anyway, Mac's having some problems. I was on their home page, and it was a mess. You can't even pull up their home page. It's just like it's like a wired frame that, okay, now it's fixed, but it was a mess. Because I tried it on my Linux box. I had tried it on the main computer. I was like, wow, something's going on with Apple's website. So a couple things. I'm going to go back real quick, take a couple jumps back. And now, I think I'm kind of organized, I hope. And I'm hoping there's no problems with this podcast tonight. I'm actually already 25 minutes in, I think, almost. So, yeah, let me make that step back. The thing with Joe Bob Briggs, what I wanted to bring up, I did forget to mention. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. It was interesting to meet him. I'm not a big fan of him, but it was fun to go see. Wherever it was down in Philadelphia, they had a lot of paintings and artwork that was David Lynch, based upon David Lynch. Like they had this thing on the wall that said "Bang Bang," a neon sign. They had some paintings from Eraserhead. Somebody had done, like they actually made, like murals of from Twin Peaks and certain characters from Twin Peaks, Eraserhead, and some other things that were Lynch. Now, Lynch did come from Philadelphia. He went to the Philadelphia School of Art. So it would make sense. Like he's like a big, almost like a spokesmodel or somebody who represents the Philadelphia School of Arts. So this stuff was for sale too. Some of it looked really interesting, but then Ed was joking with me because the price tags on that stuff was outrageous. It was like, I think it was like $2,000 or $3,000. It's like, wow, that'll be my new Mac Pro when I can afford one, or when it comes out. So I just wanted to say that on that aspect. And again, I'm hoping this will work so I could do a decent show with with Ryan Logston next week, and he wants to talk about his sequel to Agony. I am definitely interested in hearing what he has to say and talk about some other things. So I'm kind of a little bit caught up. The Possession of Hannah Grace, I saw that tonight. I'm just going to go from there. Was actually pretty interesting. It wasn't really scary, but it was definitely fun to watch. I enjoyed it. It's not one of these movies I did have to go to the bathroom because I ate beforehand. I ate at Subway's over at this Walmart or around the house. And it was like I basically made sure I was ready to go to the movies. But then I was like, I went a couple times not to be gross. And then it was like, okay, wow, it's like 7:30. The movie starts at 8. I better buy my ticket real quick. So I did. It was a little bit of a nightmare. That movie all day did not sell one ticket. I looked at every time it was showing over King of Prussia. That's where I went and decided to see it because they have really nice layout on the seats. The seats are very comfortable. So they redid the King of Prussia Stadium, and it's really nice. I don't like the IMAX screen, but their other screens are beautiful. You can't find the bad screen in that theater because I've been in 2 different theaters now, and they were both really nice. So they put like these new seats in there. They have like a slope going down to the front screen. So if you have one of those knuckleheads who buy a seat in front of you and they're really tall, you don't have to worry about it because there's enough of a slant. You don't have that issue because you have that like when you go to concerts and movies most of the time. You don't at that theater. The only thing I hate is people seem to see, oh, wait, hey, there's a seat here that was taken. I'm going to take the one right next to that person who bought that seat, and I hate that. I can't stand that. So anyway, this movie did not sell any tickets the whole entire day. I looked at every time the movie was ready to go on screen or play, like at 2:30, at 12 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, at 7:30, or at 7 o'clock, whatever it was. Not one ticket was sold. I pick a movie, and then it was like somebody dropped a bunch of millennials off on a school bus. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, every time I go to that freaking movie theater over King of Prussia Mall, I got to deal with that stuff. Then I made sure the park way, way out this time, like in the middle that somebody would have to walk a good half a mile of the park next to my car. So that actually worked, and I'm glad I did that, though, by the way, because the spot I was going to park in that was like pretty close to the building, but in the back of the movie theater, somebody parked right in that spot. And the thing that really annoys me, they got to back the car in. It's like, why do you got to back a fucking car in to a spot to go to a movie? I mean, are you serious? And the parking lot part that I parked in, by the way, I was there this afternoon because I had to pick up some film I got for free from Best Buy store credit. Because like if you spend so much money on the Best Buy card, you accumulate points, and the points turn into money. So I had like a $15 gift card from Best Buy, and I used it online to buy some. I bought all these. They're actually fairly new, but I bought 3 different movies from Scarlett Johansson, and one was a 4K copy because it didn't cost me anything, so I got it. It's free. It's for me, as my dad would say. And it was Ghost in the Shell. So it was either give or take on that movie. And there was a movie she actually looked really hot in, and it was from the same people who did 300 in Sin City. And it's a movie called The Spirit. And she looked like incredibly hot. I'm not a big Scarlett Johansson fan. I saw her in this movie, though, and it was like, wow, she looks really incredibly hot. So I got that, and it was like $5. So I'm going to buy it. And it was on Blu-ray. And then I got another 4K movie that somebody recommended at work. He said the movie's actually really good. It was this movie called Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. So I got 2 4K movies with the money and this movie called The Spirit. They're going to be in the shrink wrap for a long time until I can get around to watching them, which eventually I will. But I wanted to do this first, this podcast. So yeah, I got those. I picked the other ones came to the through the mailbox. The one I just picked up, save a little extra money on, because I got to stretch money like several different ways now. It's just crazy. So I don't want to say anything about going back real quick to the possession of Hannah Grace, but don't expect it to be like, oh my God, it's the best thing since sliced bread. But if I had to choose, and it was like a very simple shot movie. I mean, there wasn't much there. It was a girl who just started her job at a mortuary, at the morgue in a hospital. I forget where it was supposed to be. I'm drawing a blank. It's not even important, but the girl just starts a job, at a morgue, the morgue room in the hospital, like a really nice looking hospital. And they bring in the body of Hannah Grace. So was it a fantastic movie? No, but compared to, which I kind of went in with both these movies with a kind of a low expectation, but compared to, which was a good movie, don't get me wrong, because I actually really enjoyed it, because I'll hear from Matt, oh, I thought you liked that movie. Now you're saying it wasn't that great. Was this movie I saw called Overlord. And Overlord was actually very interesting. I give it credit because it was shot and it felt like a video game movie. And it wasn't actually, because some guy at work said, oh, there was a video game called Overlord. I think it's based upon that. So I looked it up and it was like, yeah, there is a game called Overlord, but the Overlord, the game, was like one of these RPG kind of games. And Overlord, the movie, looked like it would be a video game movie. I apologize for keep on saying comic book. But it supposedly wasn't, which I kind of have to beg to differ. At least looked like Wolfenstein, Castle Wolfenstein, which, it's denying that to the bitter end. J.J. Abrams. But it was definitely an entertaining movie. I enjoyed it. But if I had to choose between the two, of like movies that are okay, not spectacular, I would probably definitely hands down pick Possession of Hannah Grace, because I thought it was definitely entertaining. I enjoyed it. Probably didn't get that great of a ratings, and it obviously did not make any money because, like I said, every time I looked up the movie to go, wow, I wonder if I can see it at this time. Oh no, I'm going to run late because I got to run and do some shopping, or the day before I was too tired. Every time I looked up how many people had picked, because you pick your seats, how many seats were sold, there was 0 seats sold until the time I picked my movie. It is an irony, because there was no seats sold until it's like one of these things, people are too afraid to spend money on the movie if it's not selling any tickets. So they see how many seats are sold, and then when they see, wow, there's a couple seats sold here and there, then they start to pile in. And to me, I just don't go see a movie just to see it, well, if there's a couple people in there, oh yeah, I'll go. I actually do the opposite. If I see a screen empty, I'll go see that movie if I want to go see it. I don't wait to see, well, if a seat sells, if a couple of seats are filled up, well, maybe the movie's worth going to see because these people are wasting their money. I never thought that way, but some people must. That's just my opinion, so. I don't know. I honestly don't know otherwise. But why would that happen? Why would that happen to me? So, again, I just like from this thing, the Mac Pro. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. And I thought I had these stories up, and now I can't find one damn story on one thing I had on my Facebook page. I have a lot of stories on my Facebook page, but this one was actually in what I wanted to talk about. When I mentioned about my phone. And now I can't find these stories, and I'm afraid to screw up this Mac Pro. Or because I'm running like 2 computers. I'm like a disc jockey right now. I'm like going back and forth with 2 different mice. And this time you can't see it, so I can actually say this. I have to actually give you an image of what I'm trying to do. Before, it was great when I do the podcast on video. I really don't have to put much time and effort into explaining everything. I think when you're on radio, you kind of got to give a description of what's going on, because otherwise people have no clue. So, okay. Oh, God, it's an audio story. Didn't like that idea. And it's not going to stop, of course. Why would it do that? Because it's Walter. So anyway, I did go over to the T-Mobile store, and I told them, listen, hey, I really would like a bigger phone. I know the resolution is going to be lower. I think they call it something like the pixel rate, the DPI, or something like that. It's going to be much lower on the XR as opposed to what I have now, the iPhone X, iPhone 10. So that being said, it was like, I don't care because the phones are still kind of small. It's just the one's slightly bigger. The one phone, the iPhone XR is bigger. The 10R is bigger than the one I have now. And I like the bigger screen because I'm used to it when I had the 8 Plus, the 7 Plus, and the 6 Plus. So I'm used to bigger screens because it makes it easier for me to see things. That's when it started acting up the computer. So now I know where I was at. So I was saying about, like, I have to wear reading glasses because before I didn't, and of course I couldn't see anything. And now, years ago, at this point, it was about 10 years ago, I got corrective surgery. So, and the guy said, well, from the corrective surgery, but definitely because when you get older, your what do you call it? Your elasticity of your eyes kind of harden. So that's what makes it, people become, I guess it's called farsighted, which means you can't see things close, which basically means you can't see small print when you try to read or anything that's really like a book. Not even just small print, but just print, general print. It's going to be very difficult for me to see. So you have to buy reading glasses. That's what are called that. So, and going to a smaller screen is nice, but I'm still squinting, and I don't like that. So it was like I went over to the T-Mobile store. I said, listen, I want a slightly bigger phone that's going to make me feel more comfortable the way I did when I had my 8 Plus. Now, why did you get rid of your 8 Plus, Walter? Well, very simply, because the 8 Plus, the iPhone 8s, had just nothing but problems. I don't like the 8 phone. That was a major mistake from Apple. Not saying I won't have any with the 10R. So I went to the store. I said, listen, I'm interested in 10R. I know I'm going to lose a little bit on resolution, but I'm going to gain a lot on the view screen that I can actually physically see it a lot better. I'm not squinting. And they told me, yeah, we definitely, can help you out with this. I said, well, I wasn't going to do this. I was going to keep my 10 as a spare, but hey, if I trade it in, how much will you give me? And they sit somewhere in the realms of between $450, $500. I forget what the exact number was. So they plugged it in. They checked. They said, oh, yeah, we have. What phone do you want? I want the 10R, the white back. I know. And I said, I know this is ridiculous. I'm going to buy a case cover for it right away. The case cover is going to cover up. You're never going to see the back of the phone. But I said, I want the white one. I've had the space gray, the black, and I just don't like them. I like white. Even though I don't look at it, you're never going to see it once you got it covered up. I still just want the white. It's ridiculous. So I said, fine. And I said, well, we're giving the phones out for free right now. And then you just pay a monthly fee until it's paid off. You pick it up for free. And I said, well, you're probably talking about the 64 gig one. And they said, yeah. I said, I want the 256. Because I do use my phone for taking pictures, sending texts, and downloading stuff and watching things. You need more space. A 64 is not going to do it. I'll have that filled up before when you put apps on, they take a lot of space. So they said, we don't have it in stock, but no problem. We're going to put all your information in. Would you want this phone sent to the house or to the store? I said, send it to the store because then when this comes in, you can help me set it up. I'll trade in my phone. They ship my old phone, which is really not a T-Mobile phone. It's actually an unlocked Verizon phone. They're shipped that back. They gave me the most money they gave me more money than they give most people because there are things that says up to $300. They're giving me an extra $200 on my phone. So I don't know how they pulled that, but that's why I want to go back to the store because they're going to they check the phone out. They will give me the money there or put it towards my phone. I'll get a credit of $500. So that'll be perfect. So I'll pay off like half the phone. Then I'll be paying. I eliminated things on my phone service I didn't need. Like I had $10 a month I was paying for using my iWatch to pick up phone calls. And it's like, well, I always have my phone nearby anyway. I don't wear the watch because my new job doesn't allow you to wear any type of jewelry or watches or anything. So what I did was, oh, great, here goes my screen again. What I did then is during Black Friday, they had these Shark watches, which are normally, sorry about that, normally like $50, $60. They had them 50% off. I was like, you know what? I'll just get one of those Shark watches because they fit a little bit more snug. I don't like it as much as the iWatch personally, but I don't use all those features on the iWatch at all. It's just kind of a waste of money. So you're talking $25 for a Shark watch, $500, $600 for an iWatch. So I'll keep the iWatch for now, but I don't know how long I'll keep it before I decide to get rid of it, because I can just put that money towards my phone, my R10R phone. But for now, I'm going to keep the watch because my dad has one, and if he has any problems, I can let him know how to fix it because I can figure out on my watch how to fix it and do it with his. But otherwise, it's just going to be a dust collector at this point. I do like the watch. I just, at the job I have now, I can't wear it. I'm not allowed to. Technically, I'm not allowed to wear any watches, but I need a watch just because I get bored after 5 minutes at the job I have now. I am like literally ready to go AWOL, postal, or pull my hair out. I'm just saying that figuratively, not literally, because it's just, the job is like very tedious, but I need it. So I lowered what I was paying on these extra perks for the iWatch just enough so when I pay $20 more a month for the iPhone XR, minus the $500 I'll get deducted off of it, which won't take me 3 years to pay off the new phone. I'll be able to, make those payments comfortably, and I'll still be, believe it or not, I'll be still paying less than I did for Verizon. Because right before I got rid of Verizon wireless, my one friend was complaining about it. He says, yeah, they raised the bill on Verizon. They didn't even tell me. They raised the bill. My dad, we got Fios in the house. I live with my parents. They got Fios in the house, and they keep on raising the bill like all the time. Like my dad was paying $130 a month. He's paying almost $170 for Verizon Fios and for the phone landline. I mean, that's just like ridiculous. Apple. Well, they are too. But Verizon's just ridiculous. Their service is great, but they really just are really full of themselves when it comes to what they charge. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So that being said, I was kind of curious. I've been doing research, and one thing I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I did see an article about a week ago that said that the new Verizon S phone, the 10S, the 10S Max, and the 10R all have problems with the phones, that there's some type of security leak on there. But I think it's from some other software company where the leak's coming from. The phones themselves, I keep on looking at the reviews, and the reviews seem quite nice. So that's what I'm going by, the reviews from people. Nobody's complained about that they've been like blind, literally, like robbed literally blind. Or you know what I mean. They've been robbed blind. I haven't read anything like that yet. So either it's somebody who's just anti-Apple or whatever. I've read reviews that people had, Google or Chrome phones or whatever you call them, or the ones from Samsung, and they said there's been nothing but problems with them. Now, if you like Samsung, I'll just let you know now, and you have T-Mobile, or if you don't, you wanted to get T-Mobile, Samsung's got a sweet deal going on with T-Mobile where you buy a new Samsung phone. I keep on looking back and forth to make sure everything's okay. That's why my voice keeps on going in and out. Well, anyway, with T-Mobile, you can get your base service for $60 a month. That's what the guy changed me to. It was costing me $70 a month. So he lowered me $10. He lowered me down to $60 a month. I was paying $110, $135 without my Merc disc. I can't remember my company discount. I was getting a company discount of 23%. I forget what it was. So without that discount, it was like $135 a month just for a cell phone, an unlimited plan. And T-Mobile is like $70 a month. I got it down because I told them, listen, I need to get my bill down a lot more than it is at now, or a little bit more if you can. So the guy said, I'll tell you what, I'll knock $10 off your bill a month. How do you like that? I was like, I'll take it. I don't care. So I'm being an old miser or something like that. So there's a difference there. I mean, I'm almost paying less than half, and I'm getting more service than I did before, or about the same, I should say, on my phone, what I was using the phone for. And now anymore, my friends don't even call me live. I'll try to call them live on the phone, and then leave me voice text all the damn time. So why am I paying $135 a month when I never get anybody talking to me on the phone, or never even want to correspond with me? They don't want to talk to me anymore. They just want to send voice text. So it's a real waste of money for me to pay $70 more a month not to ever have anyone ever talk to me. So, it does a fine job when I need to call people in the house. Yes, I use my cell phone, but those calls seem to be fine. They're just long enough that I can get through and I can converse with whomever I need to. The company I work for now, or it's a place called People Search over King of Prussia. They got me the job I have now because it's a temp agency. And it's a permanent temp job, so I'm fine with that, minus the job. It's just, aggravating. So anyway, I was looking at, okay, let me make sure I didn't make a big mistake. I looked at the reviews on the phones, and most of them, believe it or not, even though they kind of watered down the iPhone 10R, I watched on YouTube at least 3 different reviewers. They get a lot of hits, like over 100,000, 200,000 hits, these people, on YouTube, on talking about Apple products. And all 3 of them basically said, it might have been more, they said that the iPhone 10R is either one reviewer said it's not selling as well as they'd like it to, so they might just get rid of it. Other ones saying none of the iPhones are selling because they just put them out. The iPhone X or 10 just came out just a few months ago, like about a year ago. So people aren't interested in upgrading their phones. I was, because I had so many complications, so many issues with the 8 Plus. So I went to a used 10, and the 10 was working. I told them it works beautiful. The phone has not one issue with it. So the only thing is, it was an unlocked Verizon phone. I have T-Mobile. That could be part of my issues, but the screen was, for me, it's way too small. I want something that's bigger. So that's why I wanted to go. I'm going with the 10R once it comes in the mail or comes to the store. And I don't have a problem with that. So, but anyway, the review said that, believe it or not, 2 reviewers, I think, said that the 10R is actually outselling the X Max and the 10 Max and the 10S. Because, one, it's cheaper. That's the main reason. It's cheaper. And the things you're losing out on, there's something called 3D Touch. I couldn't remember the name of it. It's called 3D Touch. I have it on the 10R, the original 10 that came out a few months ago, last year, technically. And I hate to say it, I don't use it. I don't use the 3D Touch. I have no clue how to use the 3D Touch, so I won't miss it. So this one out of the 3 reviewers said, well, guess what? Next year they're going to put out probably what's called, he thinks, the iPhone 11. So it'll be a Roman numeral X with a Roman numeral 1. So it would be iPhone 11, and it will have, I'm looking at the picture on the video, it will have 3 camera lenses on there. The R is going to only have 1 camera lens. So I was almost going to make a joke that eventually these phones are going to have the whole back covered with camera lenses. It's like, where are you going to put your freaking hand? Because you're going to put them over one of those lenses eventually. So it's a little goofy, but people do take pictures with their phones. And the only problem with that is eventually when you do go to concerts and stuff, people like taking pictures on their phones. If they make the phones too good, they're not going to allow you to bring your phone into the concert. They're going to make sure that you you put it away or lock it up, or they're put it in a bag and have it locked and won't let it come out of the sealed bag until after the concert. I don't know, but I'm sure that's going to happen. So anyway, I just want a phone I can look at. So I'm going to like I said, the 10R. Who knows how long it's going to take? I'm not in a rush. I ordered a special custom case that I wanted. You can't buy it in the stores. I had to buy it online. So, but anyway, they said on the new phones, when they come out in 2019, when they do come out, probably not until next fall or next spring, they'll be announced and probably be out next fall, like around same time it was this year. They said they're going to get rid of the 3D touch because it costs too much. So the iPhones, the new ones that will come out, that's going to be like the guy says, I'm being kind of disappointed on it. It's like, well, I'm not going to be disappointed because I don't like it. Yeah, I'm looking at what the guy wrote. He put 2019 iPhone 11. What we know now, smaller notch. There's a notch on the top of the screen people seem to bitch and complain about. I really don't care. They got rid of the home button, which I don't miss it at all, believe it or not. It says triple lens camera, Face ID Gen 2, and no 3D touch, as I just mentioned. Now, these are all leaks and rumors, as it states. But they're actually very interesting ones. So the thing is, though, not a problem. It is not a problem. If they do change the iPhone 11 from the iPhone 10s series, I'll be in line with what Apple wants to get rid of on the phones, which again is this 3D touch, which I never used. So how can I miss something I've never had? So to me personally, I don't really care, and I'll get I'll be ahead of the game because I'll never would have had it, and I never will. So to me, that's like a plus. No puns intended. And the iPhone 10R is actually slightly smaller than my 8 Plus, my 7 Plus, but only by a hair as opposed to the phone I have now, which is major difference in size. And it is a little bit harder on my eyes. That's the only reason I wanted to do that. So I just wanted to mention that. So anyway, I got some, if you go to my Facebook page, I did have some interesting review. I watched so many YouTube videos last night, it wasn't even funny. And by the way, I'm actually close to an hour already. But I had that little bit of a major problem. Isn't that great? But this guy, same reviewer out of the three, also put something up. If you're interested on the Mac Mini 2018, and it seems pretty cool. He said that it is a cheaper system, but I've noticed if you want to soup up the Mac Mini 2018, they did make some changes to make it worthwhile. You're going to spend as much on that as you would the new iMac Pro. And he was right. I looked at it and compared it to the machine I have, my Mac Pro, where I do add my own monitor, keyboard, and mouse. And I looked at it, okay, to make this worthwhile, this Mac Mini, what will I need to do? How much will it cost? I paid $2,500 for the Mac Pro I have. It's worth about $3,000 now. And to make it remotely close to what I have now to buy a Mac Mini, I would almost have to pay $3,000 or $4,000 just to get it on the same level as what I have now. Now, the only difference is on the Mac Pro that was really cool, the Mac Mini 2018. It does look like a Mac Mini Pro. It's not called a Pro, so I keep on calling it a Pro because it's got that same design as the Mac Pro products. It's got that space gray, the darker gray, as opposed to the silvery gray they used to have, metallic gray they used to have. So one thing that looked really cool you can do, but it's not going to run as efficiently as the new iMac Pro, though, because the guy specified this in his review. But he said you can actually, if you hook up, it makes it much more competitive towards it. But if you hook up an external, like there's these boxes you can buy for, like, I could buy one for my Mac Pro. You can buy it for your Mac Mini. You can buy it for your iMac Pro probably if you wanted to. But there's this external, so you can put like full-size graphics cards because the Macs have dedicated graphics on all their machines now. So you can't really upgrade a graphics card the way you used to on the Mac products. So there is a way around that if you have more money than you know what to do with, and you get this external case set in that plugs into your device, and you can run your graphics card off of there. Full-size graphics cards, even dual graphics cards. So this guy said, yeah, you can do that, and it will not beat the new iMac Pro, but it would definitely be kind of running almost neck and neck. But then he said to do that, though, to add these external cards in a box to your Mac Mini, which kind of defeats the purpose because the box is almost 4 times the size of the Mac Mini. So again, you're defeating the purpose. Why do you buy a Mac Mini? Because they're small. Well, to make it worthwhile, you have to buy a large external case where you put full-size graphics cards, which again will take up 4 times the room as just the Mac Mini alone. And you're going to spend almost double the money. So it costs you, I think, $4 or $5 grand, or is it $3 or $4 grand for the new iMac Pro? For $2,000 more, you can do the same thing, not as efficiently, to the Mac Mini. So it kind of really does not make any sense. So this guy said, what is the Mac Mini worth? Is it a total waste? And he said, no. The nice thing about a Mac Mini, though, because it doesn't really need all that horsepower to do anything, he said it would be excellent. It is excellent to use, which he decided to do. This guy, it says Zone of Tech is the name of the the guy's handle on YouTube. He said that it makes a perfect server, which would make sense because a server doesn't have to be really powerful. It doesn't have to be super fast because a server, all that does, if you have multiple computers at home, the server basically kind of communicates, it's like a traffic cop between your machines. And also you put certain things on the server that is just like basically stored there. Like you can put movies or pictures and stuff on your server, and then your other computers can pick it up. But as far as performance, servers don't have to be that fast. And he said, as a server, it's beautiful. If you want to use it as a server, it's not that expensive. It's under $1,000 for a Mac Mini because the original Mac Minis, he said, were like $700, $800. Now, because they updated certain things, they're closer to $1,000. But the base model of a Mac Mini is around, I think, $900. Which in the computer world, that is like god-awful expensive. In the Mac world, that's not bad at all. Is still relatively cheap. So the bottom line is, I'm going to check the price real quick on the Mac Mini because I honestly don't know. But, it depends what you're going to be using it for, but it actually is not bad. I saw they did they made them cheaper. They don't look any different. I'm looking at it now as I open the page. They have the new MacBook Airs. All the MacBook Air is a glorified Mac Mini. I mean, the MacBook and the MacBook Pro, they're all the same. They just put the word on there that says MacBook Air now, MacBook Pro, and the MacBook because they're all the same thickness, which is like they're paper thin. So I'm looking at that. I just have to laugh. But the price is actually a lot cheaper, too. The MacBook Air is just a name now. It really is not thinner, in my opinion. But the actual the price is like a couple $100 cheaper, which, again, is not bad. So let me look up this Mac Mini, the new price. And I'll just give you the base model price. Okay, I'm waiting for it to come up, so that's why I'm kind of pausing. Okay, one of them is $780, and that's for your base model. If you want ones a little bit more horsepower, you're talking a little bit over $1,000. But you're also talking a 256 PCI-based SSD storage drive. Actually, both of them do. So the one for $800, I'm going to just round it up to 800 from 780, is basically 128 SSD drives. So they both come with SSD drives, and everything else is pretty much identical, give or take on a few things. So now compare that, though, to the Mac iMac Pro, there is a large difference because guess what? The iMac Pro actually, processor-wise, you can go up to 18 processor cores, which is incredibly insane. Who needs 18 cores? It depends what you do. The base model on that starts with 8 cores, but this guy actually said they go up to 18 cores. So, but the base model is almost $4,600, which is a bit pricey in my opinion for the iMac Pro. I just got to look at a price because I'm really curious now on this one. How much would it cost for 18 cores? Okay, 10 cores, 14, 18 cores. Oh, wow. Okay, that is insane. 18 cores adds on to your cost almost $2,000 or $3,000, which that alone to add, but that's 18 cores on a desktop. That is crazy. It's going to cost you almost as much as I paid for my car. It's like $6,800. I'm not even joking. So I'm going to max this out. That's for the iMac Pro, just for shits and giggles, and see how much this will cost. I'm going to max everything out. High as you can go on everything. I have more money than I would possibly need or have, but just to see it. Alrighty. To max everything out on the iMac Pro, which I think is insane, because it would be, believe it or not, it would be $4,000 more than I paid for my car, the one I have now, which is actually it's a space gray too, my Volkswagen Tiguan. So yeah, the price is $12,207 to buy a maxed out iMac Pro. That is literally $4,000 more than I paid for my car. I'm not even joking about that. So that is incredibly insane. Now, Apple will justify their price and say why it's so expensive, but Mr. iWalter will say you're full of shit because I don't believe it for 1 second. So anyway, I'm well over an hour. I'm hoping this does better because I got to kind of put this thing together after I'm done, and I'm not going to be happy about that. So anyway, on another lighter note, I was seeing they're already putting up a lot of teasers for. I finished the show called Sabrina, the Adventures of the Chillin'. What is it called? Let me see if I can get this out straight. The Chillin' Adventures of Sabrina Season 2, which won't come out till sometime next summer, I guess. But yeah, they're already heavily advertising it, so that's actually really cool. Yeah, so I'm actually kind of excited about that. I actually try to get her to respond back about something. It's like, hey, what's going on? I had some questions about season 1. It was on Netflix, by the way, if you don't know. And she never got back to me. It's just like, it's the story of my freaking life. Nobody gets back to me. Thank you for Ryan, though. Thank God for Ryan. A level-headed man. He's a man, baby. Maybe that's what it is. Men just are a little bit. They say women mature faster than men, but I think, nah. So anyway, one of the things, I'm going to go through these stories as quickly as possible because it is over an hour, and I don't know if it's going to be another screwed up podcast. But this whole thing with these caravans is just out insane. How the news is covering this shit. And they're saying how these people, they're coming from Honduras and stuff. But there is a picture I have on Facebook that shows how, they have, destroyed. I'm looking at it now. These Hondurans had destroyed sections of, Mexico. I mean, it looks like I don't know how else to put it, since it's already going to have, from me using profanity already, it looks like a fucking shithole. There's no other way to put it. These people are a joke. And the funniest thing is, I think even the news is trying to not laugh when they say how these people are so deprived. And you see these women and they look like they need to go seriously on Weight Watchers, them and their kids, because they look like they weigh 300 pounds, but yet they just traveled from Honduras all the way through Mexico onto the border of the U.S. and like forcing their way into our country. And it's like, really? Because they look like Honey Boo Boo's mom and stuff before she went on that serious diet. I mean, these women are incredibly fucking fat. And you're trying to tell me these people are starving and deprived? Seriously? So, excuse me. I just got to laugh at that stuff. Anyway, before I lose my voice, I've been like coughing a lot lately. I don't know what it is. And that's another thing. There was some like serious in Pennsylvania, some serious tick problem now. And I really think it's from all these freaking illegal immigrants that are coming in our freaking country, and they're not getting checked for any type of diseases they might be bringing in our country. I'm totally serious about that. So, and that upsets me. I was in Walmart tonight. 99% of the people, 80%, I'll be generous, 80% of the fucking people were all Mexican. And I saw this, I was eating in the subways, and there was this little kid. He was like no more than 3 years old. Probably one of the Hondurans who made their way into our country, I'm sure. And all he was saying was, Papa, Papa, Papa. Well, that's not English. And the kid did not, at 3 years old, he didn't speak any English. He only spoke whatever language, native tongue. I was walking through there. It was like, I don't even understand what these people are saying. Not one of those freaking people in Walmart tonight, none of them spoke English. None of them. I felt like I just crossed the border, for Christ's sakes. So that really just annoys me. Anyway, there were some funny stories I had, as well as some serious stories. So I'm going to go through these, call it a night, and put this show together. Put the show on the road, yo. Lab 98. Anyway, there was a story from this thing called Hustlers or something. I believe that's how you say it. And it was like, man eats girlfriend's booty for first time and dies from E. coli. And it said it came from New York, this story. So this guy was eating out his girlfriend's butt. That's what a booty means for those who don't know. He was eating out her butt, and he got E. coli from doing so, and he got seriously sick, and he died. Well, it couldn't probably happen to a better person, I guess. So there was that. And then it was on Fox News. I had the story like lingering around, because the whole thing you've heard for the last month since election for the midterms were how the Republicans lie and cheat and stuff like that. So here's a story on Fox News from when I had it up about a week ago, a couple weeks ago, who knows. 53K dead people on Florida's voter rolls. And that was referring to votes that were placed upon the Democrat Party, whoever was running in Florida. So, yeah, that's quite a lot of people who voted that are dead. So, that was another thing I have to, because I'll forget. A guy at work I work with, he told me, he said it was really bad, but it's on Netflix. And I was curious about it, so I had to watch it. It was definitely funny, but it was so much trying to be politically correct. And I wanted to tell this guy at my job, that, he's black. And I was going to say to him, this movie is for a movie that's supposed to be like the original one. Let me name the movie first. I apologize. The name of the movie is Tales of the Hood 2. The original one was made, I believe, by Snoop Dogg, and it was really funny. It was a great film, but it was an urban, exaggerated urban legend, people that were bad people, that were black people, and it was meant to be an urban type film. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white, not to refer to the Michael Jackson song. I just popped in my head when I said that. But anyway, it was a very entertaining movie. I have to give Snoop Dogg credit for the movie because it was very entertaining. It was really fun to watch. So they made a sequel, and it was the whitest black urban film I have ever seen, because it looked like literally looked like it was written and directed, and even the black people acted more white than black. Now, is that wrong to say? Yes, when the movie was that bad. I mean, the guy at work said it was horrible and was like, well, let me check it out. It's free while I'm paying for Netflix. I might as well get some money out of what I'm putting into it. So I watched this film. It was 2 hours long, and it was really bad. It was really bad. But it's like that whole, white people need to be punished for the way they treated black slaves and all this other nonsense. The first one was a black gentleman had this museum he called the Black Holocaust Museum because, we need to remind ourselves, which is true. We need to remind ourselves about our past. We should not forget about it. So I was fine with that. So, but they got to incorporate white guy with a black girlfriend. She was really cute. She was definitely hot. And a white girl who had dated the black girl's brother at one point. So it's like we need to make amends for all the things we did wrong. So we need to, not remember the past, but make up the past by apologizing over and over and over again to the point it's like enough already. And that was bad enough, but then it just turns into like, okay, well, this white girl wants a Sambo doll that the guy had in his museum, which was possessed. And the whole thing was kind of interesting, but I agree with the friend at work. It was horrible at the same time. It was just like, this is a story. There was 3 different stories. All 3 of them were written, directed, probably produced by white folks, and it was horrible. So in the third one, which was the worst of them all, was they changed history. They changed history on the third episode, the third story, and it was kind of funny, but it wasn't. It was actually, I wanted to say right off the bat to the friend at work, you know what? I found this offensive, and I'm a white person because they were degrading black people in the third episode, and it was like, but it was from a white person's perspective, and the way they were trying to do it was, well, the protagonist was a black guy who was married to a white woman. He needs to sacrifice his life to make, so that the line between which this guy was a black conservative Republican who they portrayed, again, I found this whole thing offensive. They portrayed him as an Uncle Tom. And people from the past that were slaves, their ghosts came back and said, well, you need to sacrifice your life. They didn't say that, but they insinuated that because that's what happened. In order to keep the peace between the white people and the black people. I'm not even joking about this. It's like nobody in their right mind would write something like that, because I've seen films that are, made by producers that are black or that are women, and never have I seen such garbage like this. And it was total garbage. It was like, yeah, this is really bad. So the funny thing is, the guy refused at first. Like, he wanted to close down pole areas in, I think it was supposed to be in, I forget where. Oh, it was in Mississippi in the storyline. He wanted to close down polling areas that basically only black people would go to. And he wanted to close those down. So the black slaves in the past said, well, you're going to ruin what we worked for, why we sacrificed our life. These black people that are now deceased and ghosts who got tortured and died for it. They said, you're gonna change everything. So I was like, well, I need to do this stuff. The guy who is the black guy who has has all white friends and a black conservative. So it was just bad because when he decided he didn't want to do it at first, everything started to digress, and even his wife said, you can't touch me because you're black, and I will cry rape. So it was like, I'm not doing a very good job. I could do a better job, but then I'd have to use the slang they used in the short story. Actually, that was the longest one. That was like 40 minutes. The other ones were shorter. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to get myself in any trouble. But it was, I'm telling you the God's honest truth, and it was just bad. Now, the thing that really pissed me off, more so than everything else about this episode, this story on Tales of the Crypt 2, they had downright lied about the history of who brought the slaves over and who enslaved African Americans. And in the story, they said it was because of the Republicans who did this. I'm not making this up, folks. They said it was the Republicans who had created these problems and had whipped and beaten and sexually raped the black slaves. They said Republicans did all this stuff, and now you're taking their side, the protagonist, this one particular guy. And I was like, should I laugh about this or should I just turn this off now? Because this is like total nonsense. This is total nonsense. It's complete bullshit. And people, thank goodness, thank God that a lot of people just couldn't stand this movie. I mean, I looked at the ratings, like the reviews. Both critics and people alike don't like this movie. They thought it was horrible. Because what Snoop Dogg originally had did in the first film, which was really good, was completely erased and ruined, and it's from this white guilt that you hear about like on conservative radio. The white guilt was in this film, and it was done in a very embarrassing state. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, that film should just be pulled personally. It was really bad. And it's a 2018 movie, by the way. Oh, and then they portray like this main guy who's a white guy, who's a big corporate company dude who wants to get into government, who is being lured by, Satan, who is a black guy. And the black guy tells these stories. The guy was supposed to be portraying, believe it or not, because I know what they were going with that, he was supposed to be portraying Trump. So it's like, enough of this nonsense already, please. So anyway, it's going to be another 2-hour show probably. So let me go through these. I just had to get that out first. The stories themselves, I'm just going to read a little bit, or a little bit means like really little because it's well over an hour now. I don't know what I'm going to deal with when I'm done with this. So anyway, there was a story, a friend, I think he sent it to me, of somebody in Philadelphia, of all places. Philly is just like a joke anymore. Pennsylvania is turned into a complete shithole. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's a complete shithole with the nonsense we have going on around us anymore. And it's a shame because we got some very nice younger people that moved into my neighborhood. Very nice people. Very pleasant to talk to and stuff. But then we got like the riffraff around this old neighborhood with new people. Not the people in this neighborhood, but the other ones that are moving in that are just completely ridiculous. They need to like be moved out of the state if they could, which I know it can't happen. I'm just saying. So anyway, there was a story from Philadelphia. A friend sent me. It was on Channel 10 News. That's our local station around here. NBC, I believe. It's the one with the peacock. Is that NBC? Man arrested for allegedly reaching up a girl's skirt in somewhere in Philadelphia. So the guy, his last name is Lopez, 29, tried to reach up and grabs underneath a woman, grab her hey nanny underneath her skirt. So, I mean, it's out of hand with stories like that, by the way. And I got this myself off of the local news. It's called The Patch. It's like Lower Providence. That's where I live in. And it says, here's what types of lettuce is safe to eat in Pennsylvania. Apparently, I thought it was just like the romaine lettuce that has been a problem. But I went to McDonald's the other day after work the other night, and apparently they pulled all their salads, any type of lettuce. They don't have that stuff anymore. You can't get any type of lettuce almost at this point. And they don't want to take any chances, so they just pulled everything. And by the way, this stuff is coming from California, just to let you know. So let me see what else is going to come up. Oh, this was a funny story. I did send it to a black friend at work because I thought it was. I think I did. Maybe I did. Maybe it's better if I did not. It was on top stories from World News Daily. Now this one is just it just never stops with these stories that are just out of hand, for lack of a better word. Black Lives Matter leader exposed as a white man using tannin injections. The guy's got blue eyes too. He looks like, I thought at first like he wasn't bathing, but yeah, it's a white. It says Caucasian man pretending to be black is the head of Black Lives Matter. It said it's in Michigan too, by the way. An influential leader of the Black Lives Matter, BLM, activist movement, resigned from his position this morning after it was revealed that he was, in fact, a Caucasian pretending to be a black male. 53-year-old Maurice Clark, Caucasian former bank manager from Detroit. I mean, come on. Can you get any more entertaining than that? And it's not even entertaining. It's really scary, actually. Again, that's that white privilege, white guilt. I mean, it's just enough already. Stop it. Cut it out. I'm just going to go again through these stories as best as I can and as quickly as possible to keep it under 2 hours. I doubt it's going to be under an hour and a half. That's not going to happen. Mom suing U.S. government for $60 million after toddler child dies following neglectful immigration detention. So this woman is an illegal immigrant. She was held in a detention center, and she's blaming the detention center for her child dying. It's in South Texas. So, I always hear, well, these people are desperate. They are not a burden to our country. They are not dangerous people to our country. They are not looking for money. They're just looking for a place to live. They are looking for a sanctuary. Well, this woman was able to get a lawyer to take her case, an illegal immigrant, and sue the state of Texas $60 million. What am I missing out of this? Please let me know, because I don't know. So, I totally forgot about this, and I apologize. Unfortunately, our 41st president had passed away just on Saturday, I believe Saturday. And it's hard to believe because I remember Bush being our president. I remember Bush Jr. being our president as well as senior. But yeah, he was from 1989 to 1992, and he died at the age of 94. It's a real shame. His wife, Barbara Bush, died years before him. But towards the end there, Bush Sr. was looking kind of pretty bad. Like he had deteriorated his health quite a bit. So that's a shame. I was kind of pissed about this because I sent it to a friend and I thought this is like kind of scary. But it was a story I sent it to my friend Matt, and he made a big joke. He actually sent me a joke. And it was like break-in burglary at Lower Providence home Wednesday, cops had stated. So it happened in my development. Lower Providence, PA, a suspect broke into a Lower Providence home early Wednesday evening or late in the afternoon, police had mentioned. The incident occurred at some point between 2 p.m. and 6:15 p.m. on the block of 2600 block of Amy Drive. That I live on that street. So the friend, if it's anybody else like a prostitute, some homeless piece of shit, he would never have anything bad to say about them. But when it comes to me, he's just got such a venomous hate, which I don't know where he gets it from, but he definitely does, Matt, that you just like attack me like viciously by saying, well, maybe they're going to steal all your dolls, your Miley Cyrus dolls or your dolls and stuff. It's like, dude, that is the most disrespectful, inconsiderate, acidine thing you've ever said to me. I mean, you've done some nasty things to me. You've said nasty things to me. You have treated me less, more like dog shit gets treated better than the way you treat me. But that was the one, that was the thing that was the icing on the cake, dude. I'm sorry. And yes, I am very pissed at you, Matt, because that was very disrespectful. If something happened to your sister or your mom or your dad, they got in like a serious car accident or somebody broke in her house, and I turn around and say, well, Matt, at least it didn't happen to you because they could have stole your piano or something like that, or make a really distasteful joke out of it. Yeah, if that happened out of my mouth, I would say, yeah, that was a really acidine move. That was really, really inconsiderate, kind of childish of me to do that, because I would never do that to you. But you do that to me on a daily basis. And I don't care if you say you're just joking. It was very disrespectful. I mean, I don't understand that. So I don't know why you did that, but it was very disrespectful. And I said it a million times. And then that whole thing about correcting me all the time, that's just annoying too, dude. So anyway, lighter story. Let me calm myself down because it's after midnight. It's almost 1 o'clock. I got to go to work in a couple hours eventually. What was I going to say? Woman's head puffs up after allergic reaction to hair dye. And it is really nasty. I actually felt really bad for this girl. She looks like somebody put an air pump in her head. And it was a story. Where did I find this? It says 9gag.com. It's not a gag. It's for real. Like, first her eyes puffed up, then around her eyes and her forehead puffed up, and then her whole entire face literally looks like a balloon. And it's like, that's not cool. I mean, they're making a joke out of this on this webpage. That's why it's called gag. But it's like, that's not funny. I don't laugh at stuff like that. That is not funny at all. So another thing that just kind of irritates me is let me get rid of that story too. It was page 6. I saw this story. There was something else in between. I can't remember. But again, I probably lied about this. It will probably be 2 hours, no my luck. But it was on page 6, and they said, ex-manager says O.J. Simpson did not act alone on the slaying of his, his former ex-wife and her friend, the ones that he mutilated, butchered up. They're saying he didn't act alone. Well, that happened 20 years ago. Now all of a sudden it's a big deal. You get to resurface O.J. Simpson killing 2 people by saying, well, he didn't act alone, but it had taken you 20 years to get to this point. Really? Seriously? Because that story was just posted, by the way. All right, yeah, I do have a picture up. It's really funny. Maybe I should use that too. I might use that as my iWalter thing tonight instead of the one with the doll. I'll put that in there too, though. But anyway, it was a picture somebody put up. I thought it was really funny. It's from this woman. I love her to death. She really put some really good, funny pictures and good stories on the conservative side of our fight, which seems to never happen. We never can stop fighting over this stuff. But somebody put up a picture of this. Like I said, it looks like a 300-pound woman with her daughter, who was kind of chunky herself, not as fat as her mom. And it says, poor and starving, and hiked over 1,000 miles. You just got to laugh at that picture. So, yeah, that's definitely going up there. That is definitely a story of all stories. I keep on getting on Facebook these asking requests for these women that are not, it's not that they don't know their pictures are being exploited for these porn things, these porn links on Facebook, and I keep on rejecting them. I have now almost 30 different ones I just basically had blocked on Facebook because, you know what? I let one of those damn idiots get through to my Facebook page, and I'll lose my iWalter Facebook page and my thing on Facebook. And I need that right now because that's how I kind of source out my information besides on Spreaker, YouTube, and some other streaming video links or whatever you call them. So anyway, another story from Fox News. I did hear this, I think, on one of the shows I listened to on The Blaze. Different way it was presented, but I'm just going to say what I'm reading in front of me. Border agents arrest MS-13 gang member and convicted killer on move with a migrant caravan. So I heard about this story, like I said. This guy was, there's a lot of these people going on the caravans with these Hondurans that are actually terrorists or, in this case, an MS-13 gang member. Now, they said the guy's got MS tattooed on his face when I heard it on the radio. One, because he has his head shaved on the back of his head, and one tattooed over his body that says MS-13. So this is the kind of people that the Democrats are so desperate to have in our country. So it's really sad that people, again, are that stupid. I'm trying to pull up my last couple stories. If it doesn't open up, I really won't care. Because, by the way, that was from Apple News. It was on Fox News link, but it was from Apple News. Just to let you know. Because I get stuff on my phone now, too. I link it on my phone. This was a funny story, but I saw it, and I think that was on... it says Apple News on this one, too. It's kind of funny because everybody's, pushing the electric cars, which are now kind of miserably failing because Trump has been able to keep our costs down on petroleum, gas, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, there's this story. It said it took 7 miles to pull over a Tesla with a seemingly asleep driver. So that was pretty funny. The California Highway Patrol on Friday of this story, which was November 30th, pulled over a Tesla Model S that was traveling down the road, but whose driving appeared to be, the driver seemed to appear to be sleeping behind the wheel. And it said it was at Highway 101 in, looks like Palo Alto or something. I don't know I don't know these highways out in California, obviously. I don't even know how to pronounce them. Daily Mail story. It's pertaining to that other one with the gentleman who got killed from the MS-13 dude. There's pictures if you go. I have it on my Facebook page. You can't see it because I'm only doing audio. Pictured Border Patrol Agent 36 killed by rock throwers in ambush, attacked near U.S.-Mexico border in Texas that also injured his partner. So one guy died. The other guy was seriously injured. So there you go. These are peaceful people, though. Just remember that. These people are very peaceful, these migrants. Just keep on thinking that. And you go down to that border and you talk to them in a peace-loving way, like that guy did in the Indian Islands who thought he could, give some religious beliefs to a bunch of 3,000-year-old some 3,000-year-old tribe that basically speared him to death. So, he was very successful. So we should take all these morons in our country, send them down to the border, and let them have their peaceful talks and discussions with these migrants because they are, and see where it gets them. See where it gets them. Anyway, I do got a story from the Blaze. I thought it was really funny. I heard it or saw it on the Blaze link on my app. And it says, Florida woman loudly passes gas in store. Fellow customers complain. Then things get really weird because the woman, her last name's Wilson, was a black woman. She was farting, just nonstop. She was just farting. It says, a woman who farted loudly while in line at a dollar store in Broward County, Florida, something like that. It's in Florida. Pulled a knife from her purse and threatened to gut the man behind her who complained about it. Complained about her farting. So the woman threatened the guy's life. because she was just like, and Glenn Beck does it really funny, saying like the whole time she was talking, or just standing there and talking to people, she just never stopped farting. She just kept on farting. And it was at a Dollar General store, by the way. This woman was 37 years old. She pulled a knife on a customer, and the guy said, "Can you please stop, farting like that? It's really." And I heard it smelled really bad too. Whatever she was eating, it stunk. Wilson was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Her bail was set at $2,500. Now, if she was on the other foot and was a black male, that would have probably been at $100,000. Just saying. White male, $200,000, probably $500,000. I don't know. I'm just being sarcastic. Watch the video clip below to get Glenn Beck's hilarious take on the uniquely Floridian story, pertaining to that it was in Florida. So, I only got 2 more stories to go, I think, and I'll be off. Oh, Dread Central. That's the name of the link, by the way. It was the story said Eli Roth. I love Eli Roth. I think he's really cool. By the way, I love Robert Rodriguez too, and there's some movie that he is actually doing with Cameron. I think James Cameron that's coming out. I was like, wow, that's a kind of interesting twist. Because I do like Cameron's movies, most of them, not all of them. And I do love Rodriguez. So they're going to do a movie together, some science fiction kind of wild-looking movie. And it's weird for Rodriguez, though, because it's not your normal movie for him where it's over the top. But for some reason, he's actually helping out with it. So I think it might be a must-see, probably, is what I'm hoping for. I don't know yet. I forget the name of the movie, too. I apologize. So anyway, back to Dread Central is the web link again. And Eli Roth wants to make a Stephen King movie because I guess other people are kind of stepping in doing Stephen King films, and now Eli Roth wants to do one. I'm not going to read this. It's not long. I'm just afraid to read this. And I don't want anything to happen because it is almost 2 hours now. It's been quite a year for the 21st century master of horror, Eli Roth. His artistic pendulum swung one way with a violent remake of Death Wish, which I actually really liked it, before swinging to the tween-friendly House with a Clock in its Wall. So I did not know he did that. Still, he came back to his roots with AMC's History of Horror, which I did watch a little bit of that, a weekly series during which Roth chatted with the genre's most influential fear practitioners while examining specific genres of horror, which included my man Rob Zombie. So there's a little bit more. Read it on your own. You don't need me to read it for you. So that was kind of weird. Now he wants to do a Stephen King horror movie. So that would be pretty cool if he does. I'm sure he will. I like Eli Roth's movies. I'm the only one who actually likes the stuff that other people don't like. I liked Cabin Fever. I liked Green Inferno. Other people like Eli Roth's Hostel. I don't like the Hostels because they're just way too violent. Of course, I hate to say it, all of Eli Roth's horror movies are completely violent. They are gory violent. So, I don't know. So anyway, Jason Mewes, by the way, he's going to be coming around to the city of Philadelphia. It was today, actually. It says December 2nd, so I missed it. Sunday, December 2nd, 7:30 to 9:30, which was yesterday now, because it is now Monday morning. So I'm sorry I missed that. He actually sold out. I would have done a meet and greet. I totally forgot about it. So, yeah, that was tonight, or last night now. So that sucks. Yeah, I would have definitely have seen that otherwise. Now, this is interesting. I promise you this will be the last story. And I'll say good night to everybody, or good morning, whatever you want to say whenever you listen to this. So anyway, it was a story from... trying to look at the name. Oh, Fox News. I apologize. Fox News. Last story. I'm going to try not to look at any other stories because then I'll just continue on for the rest of the night just telling stories. So anyway, because I'm looking, there's some hot chick that breaks her ankle while diving. So I'm not going to read that, though. I promise you. So McDonald's touchscreen tests positive. The McDonald's touchscreens, because they have kiosks now that you order your own food. You basically do it yourself kind of deal. You no longer have as many because they had to raise the cost, what do you call it, the minimum wage from wherever it was at to $15 an hour for people working at McDonald's, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So McDonald's basically counteracted that by putting more kiosks that you order your own food at McDonald's. You serve yourself. You no longer have anybody necessarily wait on you. So there you go. You got your cost of living raise, or you get $15 an hour, but you also worked other people out of their jobs because you wanted more. So great. Thank you, people who work at McDonald's. So it says that the touch screens that you order from, which I've done it before, because that's what they did at McDonald's around us, test positive for traces of feces, fecal matter, in Walter's terms, basically shit on the screen, and also deadly bacteria. Because people don't wash their fucking hands anymore. They take a shit, including ladies do the same thing. They take a dump, and they got fecal matter all over the fucking screen. So yeah, that's really good. So now you got human fecal matter on the touchscreen. You order your food, and where do those hands go when you buy food from a fast food restaurant? Let me guess. I believe that food actually those hands go in your mouth. So yeah, that is just like no other way to put it. It's just like really gross. So now you're forced to, what do you call it? You're forced to do your own orders because, we got these people. Well, I'm not getting paid enough. I need to get, the job I work now, I'm not getting $15 an hour. And it's actually not a public job. It's a freaking, it's not a public job. It's a factory job, practically. It's at a pharmaceutical company. And I'm not complaining, but I'm making like $1 less an hour than they are. And at least there, we do have to wash our hands before we touch the pharmaceutical drugs we work with. But that is just like, that's incredibly disgusting. So anyway, I did say I'm going to end the show, and I will. So thank you very much for listening to Walter on iWalter. That's me. Have a good week, and I'm going to, if this works out successfully, I'll let Ryan know, hey, dude, I'm going to have you set up and ready to go next weekend. So I'm going to probably shoot for Sunday with him. So anyway, thanks a lot for listening to me. If you like the show, just kind of respond back in some way, because I definitely would appreciate that, and I can know what you think. Otherwise, I won't know. So have a good one, folks. It's Walter from iWalter signing off for now.